Hello once again everyone and welcome back. I am Natty and this is Nat at the Movies, the series where I take a look at a movie and share my thoughts on it. This week around I took a look at Backcountry and oh boy, let me tell you, it's a wild one. Alright, so what is Backcountry? Well, it's very different from the movies I've reviewed before. It's a nature survival horror based on a true story. The film was released in 2015 while the event it's based off of was from 2005. Now I will upfront say I don't really watch horror stuff at all. It just really isn't my thing. However, with this one, it wasn't quite what I expected. I didn't even intend to watch it at first, but I was sitting in the room when it came on and I just couldn't stop watching it. This will be a shorter one than ones like when I did Black Panther, but that's primarily due to this being an R-rated film, and much of the acts involved in such a film usually not the cleanest, to put it simply. I also do believe all of you, if old enough, and if it's your type of movie, should watch it yourselves. I, of course, won't be able to show some of the things that happen in this movie, but trust me, it's quite a wild ride. Alright, so let's get into the meat of this now, shall we? So without going into too much detail, or trying not to, the film is about a couple, girlfriend Jen and boyfriend Alex, and their trip to the woods. Alex wishes to propose to Jen whilst out on this magnificent and large trip. However, he makes three big mistakes that in horror movies are huge red flags. 1. He refuses to take a map with him, believing he knows the place like the back of his hand. 2. He takes the cell phone, the single thing that could help them considering what is going to come up soon, and puts it back in the car, saying they don't need it. 3. Instead of keeping to the clearly marked and well-trodden trail, he makes them go off the path and down a practically non-existent trail. So eventually, they end up lost. Smooth going, Einstein. But before they get lost, they end up with a survivalist expert in the woods, offering them fish and to stay with them in order to help them in such a bad season as it was to be out in the provincial park. Alex, being Alex, has the biggest jealousy spike for the survivalist Brad, whom I called Irish while watching the film because how much he sounded like the Red Dead Redemption character. Sure, Brad does show a bit of a racist side while mingling with them, after eventually cooking fish for them, but he would have been great help. I believe this jealousy is what made Alex choose to not keep following the trail, wanting to prove to Jen that he was a real man, and yada yada. Of course, he hadn't been out like this since high school, so his experience is very slim by this point. They eventually get lost because of his incompetence. Now miles away from the trail and anyone else, it being off-season and all, they had no choice but to camp for the night atop a rocky mount they found themselves on. It's here that I want to compliment the movie. They build up the killer extremely well without even showing them until the latter half of the movie. They show hints and pieces of things the bear did and was doing long before the bear was even shown. But it is here in the night, after arguing since they were lost due to Alex, the bear takes the food they had with them. Now the pair were lost, without food and no communication opportunities with others. Alex had stubbed his toe on the canoe ride over to the trail, and his toe was bleeding very badly. This gave the bear the trail to follow. So by now the bear was very much stalking them, and it's after they set off back in a similar direction they came that they find a bear den. Now knowing for sure there is a bear in the area, things begin to click in their minds, and they keep going until nightfall to camp again. They think they can distance themselves from the bear. However, it is the following morning the bear finally comes face to face with them. It is the scariest thing I had felt and seen in a while. Perhaps due to me hardly watching such films, plus the camera work made it feel very realistic. The bear very much felt like a threat, and how it acted was quite chilling. It is here that Alex tries to fight the bear, but once the bear gets a taste of flesh, he is done for. He is then ripped away from the tent and ended pretty violently by the bear. I am sure I don't need to describe, and nor I want to, but it's very violent. It isn't helped with how awful it all sounded and looked as it happened. It actually gave me quite a fright. Surprised more so because they used actual bears in the film. Me not liking the sight of blood in the slightest, well, I was screwed. Trust me, there's a lot of gory stuff in this, it's just, ugh. Wow, I know it's a lower budget film, but wow, this actually had me terrified myself. Jen makes it out, but not unharmed. She flees the bear as fast as she can, but is injured many times on the escape, eventually passing out after hitting her head on a rock pretty violently. After she comes to, she continues her march back to safety. The bear, however, is not done with her and she has to try to run again from the bear. Falling off the right side of the waterfall in the process, she breaks her leg, but her being a medic fixes it fast. It's after she falls that the bear isn't seen again. She eventually limps her way back, miraculously finding the canoe and gets on it hastily and sets off back to the lodge. It's here at the lodge that Brad and a rescue team that was forming find her. The movie ends with her being rescued, and it's here I realized how tensed up I was and really how scared I had been. Even when I watched horror movies before, I didn't get the same feeling from it, so yeah, this film hit hard there. But yes, that was the end of the film. Let's move on to my thoughts. Conclusion. Okay, what I think of the film. For my limited experiences with the horror genre, I'm not sure what the general consensus would be on the film, but my personal thoughts, and my honest opinion, check it out. I haven't been gripped by a movie in a while like this was. I couldn't leave while watching it, even as many scenes were far too much for me to handle usually. It doesn't shy away from gory stuff or showing disgusting things, so if you watch it and don't like such, be massively warned. The characters. I may not have liked the racist side of Brad, but he's one I felt is much better for Jen. Alex, he was far too much of a jealous sort and too dominant. Never taking into consideration what his girlfriend wanted or said. Acted solely on what he wanted to do. I don't like types like him, to put it simply. But yeah, he did screw up many times in this film. Had many chances to do the smart thing and the right thing, but didn't. The whole first half of the film, I was talking at the screen when he'd do something awful, stupid, or both. Like the things he should have been doing, they were common sense. Sure, him getting killed was still awful, and it was terrifying to watch, but he was pretty bad, and if he lived through the film and got through it okay, I think the relationship and marriage would have been awful for Jen. He wasn't a good guy. He acted pretty well, so did the other three actresses in the film. Very good for a minor film. Well done, Canada, putting this one together. Do gotta say, but I love how things that happen earlier in the film have a result and there are many callbacks. So be sure to pay attention to dialogue and things that happen. It's very well done, great writing, and rather realistic for what it could. I will say I did watch Brother Bear again soon after this. Just a little side note. But that movie was pretty hard and much heavier hitting after watching this film. Like goodness, the first act was much harder to watch. But that has not much to do with here. I just felt like saying it due to how much it surprised me. This film, definitely watch it if able, and if it's your type of thing, big approval. Canada, very well done on this. It was a lower budget film, but could stand very well against other horror-esque movies. Kept pretty well to the true story, except Jen was killed instead of the boyfriend. But very well done keeping to it the best he could. This is the end here. Definitely check the movie out. Got my massive recommendation to do that. If you like this, you know what to do. Subscribing, you also know. Do let me know your thoughts on this movie as well. I would love to know. This has been Natty, and I wish you all a very safe day. Do not try getting lost in a forest. Even if you think there aren't bears, there is certainly something that could go very wrong. Bye-bye.